From San Francisco at AT&T Park, ready for game 2 of this 4-game weekend set. Dodgers trying to even the series up at a game apiece after the Giants took the opener 12-6 yesterday. We say welcome inside with Oral and Nomar. I'm Joe Davis. Solana Rizzo joins us in just a moment. The offense so far has relied much less on the long ball than it did a season ago, and you're seeing some things, Nomar, that you really like from this offense.
Well, yeah, I do, and as you mentioned, they've only had 4 home runs, and they lead the major so far in this young season with 30 run scores. And how have they been doing it? Well, always timely hitting, but also aggressive on the base pad. Yeah, Chase Utley gets thrown out here at home plate, but it's about the aggressive. It's about the message they're sending amongst each other, and also going the other way, moving guys over. Yasiel Puig here hitting the 5th hole, RBI situation, still moving them over. And then you get the guy in the 3 hole, Justin Turner, sacrificing himself to get guys into scoring position, which eventually led to runs. So it's little things like that that really make an impact. And on the flip side, when you're facing the Giants, well, they utilized the small ball come yesterday to beat the Dodgers. And that started off with that leadoff walk, but then it was the bunt base hit right here that was perfectly executed in that inning. And here's just a routine ground ball up the middle with the infield bat that actually broke the 31 scoreless streak. Once again, putting pressure on the defense of the Dodgers. This is something that I can see the Dodgers doing as well, putting more pressure on the defense. This is a thing that the Giants constantly do to put pressure on opposing teams, and what makes them so successful. I think we're going to see a lot of that for the rest of the season, especially in the big ballparks such as here, Dodger Stadium in San Diego.
Big ballpark and a big night for the Dodgers starting pitcher. We talked all spring training about that 5 spot in the rotation. Who would it be? We didn't find out until over the weekend when Dave Roberts named Ross Stripling the 5 starter, makes his big league debut tonight.
This is going to be a night that he will remember the rest of
He's a very talented guy, and I know he's going to be amped up and excited, but don't overthink these guys. These hitters can get out just like everybody else, so just make your pitches, throw strikes, and have a little fun.
Francisco, Dodgers and Giants ready to rock game 2 of this 4-game set. And our closed captioning tonight is brought to you by Sideline. Add a second number to your smartphone. Ross Stripling getting set for his big league debut, and hoping that his offense can get him some support tonight, maybe get him a lead early on like they did for Kenta Maeda the other night in San Diego. Here is Dave Roberts' starting 9. It's presented to you by Honda. Chase Utley again bats leadoff with Seager hitting second. Justin Turner is back in there after getting the day off. Carl Crawford does get another day off. Alana will tell you a little more detail about that in a moment. So Scott Van Slyke makes his second consecutive start left. And A.J. Ellis, the veteran, back into the catching role for the rookie Stripling tonight. That's Matt Cain, who is an all-star 3 times in his first 7 seasons, but has battled injuries lately.
He really has. If you look about over the past 2 seasons, he's just made 26 starts. He made 11 starts last year, was dealing with some arm problems. He even had some arm problems this spring training where he was dealing with a cyst. So we'll see what kind of Matt Cain we get here, because he's always been that guy with a fastball, curveball, slider mix. And some guys have had success off him.
And that includes Chase Utley, who takes ball 1. He's gone deep against Cain 4 times in his career. 60 degrees a game time temperature. There is a chance of rain tonight, but it looks like we're going to have a window to get this one going, and rain not supposed to hit until about 10 o'clock. Probably rain chances much of tomorrow for that Bumgarner-Kershaw game. 2 balls and no strikes on Chase Utley. And quickly 3-0.
Chase getting into a hitter's count here. I'm sure as a leadoff hitter he's taking here, but he's going to be a good count the rest of the at-bat against Matt Cain.
And it's a 4-pitch walk to start the game for Utley. And to start the season for Kane, who's only made 26 starts over the last 2 seasons with those elbow problems. That came after 8 consecutive years where he made at least 30 starts. This was an Ironman, and this was a guy that was one of the top young pitchers in baseball when he broke in.
Yeah, Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, these guys really carried this Giant staff. He's feeling much better after the surgery to remove some bone chips. He had a cyst actually removed in spring training this year that set him back a little bit in his shoulder. But he's free and easy now and feeling like he can get down the hill and actually release the ball a little closer to the hitter, not push it as much, and he's able to spin the ball again. When he had those chips in his elbow and the problems with his elbow, he could barely even straighten his arm, and he was pitching with it. But now he can actually straighten that arm again, and he feels like the stuff is starting to come back.
Yeah, the surgery to remove those bone chips in 2014. Corey Seager fouls one off, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He said, though, that he had been dealing with the bone chips in his elbow, pitching through it for about a decade. And it got to the point 2 years ago where he just couldn't take it anymore. Had the surgery and had some more elbow problems unrelated to the surgery in his forearm early on last year, so didn't debut in 2015 until July. Seager jams it foul, and it stays 1-2.
If you look into any pitcher's arm, you're going to find something that's wrong with it. It's just, is the pitcher pitching in no pain, or does he have pain and we can see the things that are wrong with it, and can he deal with it? Can you do therapy with a starter in between starts to keep getting him to run out there the hill? And I'm sure he went through a lot of therapy even when he was pitching well and in no pain, just to get back out on the field.
Four-pitch walk for Chase Utley, and a 1-2 to Corey Seager. Hit hard to first. Belt's got it to second one. Crawford to a covering Kane, who got his foot in the bag for a double play. 3-6-1. And the base is wiped clean here in the first.
Real heavy air, Nomar, over there at first when Kane comes over to finally get to the ball. Nice feed from Belt. He has to throw it slightly high to make sure Chase Utley, who's running correctly again, trying to get in the way of the ball.
That's the one thing that stood out to me is Chase Utley recognizing, see how he was running on the grass, going on the inside. New rules here. Okay, you can't take out the guy at second base. I still don't like that. I cringe every time I have to say that, but trying to see if it'll hit him in the back.
Justin Turner looks at ball 1, and that's coming from a middle infielder who hates the rule that you can't take the middle infielders out.
Part of the game. It's the athleticism. Oral and I have talked about it. The athleticism, that athletic play in the middle of the infield is taken away now.
Turner hits it off of the mound is short. Crawford's got it despite the leadoff walk. Matt Cain faces the minimum in the first. Ross Stripling to the mound for his big league debut in a Giants-Dodger game. New addition, Denard Span leads things off in center field. Joe Panik at second. Then it's Hunter Pence. Middle third of that order. Belt, Duffy, and Crawford. Pagan, Brown, and Kane down at the bottom third. There it is. Starting 9 for this Giants offense, averaging about 7 runs per game over the first 4 this year. And they will face off with Ross Stripling. Or what's going through his mind right now?
I watched him warm up, and not a lot of balls were going where AJ is setting up, so I'm sure the butterflies are there. He's got to get them to fly in formation and make it go into that baseball to locate it. You're going to feel like overthrowing, and harder is always better when you get to these situations, but he's got to really concentrate on location.
At his first big league pitch, a fastball poured in at 91, strike 1.
Butterflies fly in formation.
You just don't want them flying everywhere. You got to get them flying in formation, going right down the tunnel.
Span turns around a fastball to center. Jock Peterson is there. This big ball yard swallows it up for the first out. Ross Stripling flew to Los Angeles during the Freeway Series last week. He didn't actually go to LA with the team when they broke camp, but then got the call that he needed to go there. Still didn't know exactly why. They told him They weren't sure who the 5 starter would be. Well, the first person that he saw when he got to the ballpark was Dave Roberts. Dave said, "Why don't you come in my office?" Rick Honeycutt was in there. A couple of members of the front office were in there. And they soon let him know that he would be the number 5 starter. Dave Roberts said to him, "This is my first time doing this as a Dodger manager." And Ross looked at him with a smile and said, "This is my first time too." Being in one of these meetings. 1 ball, 1 strike on Joe Panik.
I loved his interview when he was with the media talking about that. When he got the call and telling the story. I mean, the smile was from ear to ear.
He's got some really good tools. He hasn't thrown an inning above AA until tonight. That means he missed AAA completely. And a lot of that time from AA to the big leagues was spent on the DL.
Tommy John surgery almost 2 years to the day that he found out he would make his big league debut back in 2014. Missed the next year and a half rehabbing. Returned last June to make 14 starts, mostly at the AA level, like you mentioned, Doyle. Tap back to the mound. Stripling flips to Gonzalez. 2 away. Had to put away 21 tickets for friends and family coming to his big league debut tonight. You see his fiancee Shelby. Her family is here. His parents, Hayes and Tammy, are here as well. And they are probably, now that this game's gotten going, the most nervous Striplings in the house. Strike 1 to Hunter Pence. There's that big breaking ball, which is known as his best pitch.
He's got a 12-6 breaking ball, and he really takes a lot of speed off it. It goes down to about 76, 77 miles an hour.
It's a spike curve. He didn't pitch until he was 18 years old. And he said he didn't know what a spike curve was until somebody came up to him and said, "Hey, you should throw a spike curve." And so he learned it. And it's a big part of the reason why he's making his big league debut. Here's a 26-year-old in San Francisco. 2-2. And a drive to left center. Off of the bat of Hunter Pence. Run down and pulled in by Van Slyke. Boy, out in the same direction that Pence hit his grand slam yesterday. But it's Van Slyke to track it down on the warning track.
Now, it was coming.
Yeah. Middle third of the Dodger order against Matt Cain. There's strike 1 to Adrian Gonzalez. And in the middle part of this Dodger order, with Gonzalez and then Puig, these guys have been locked in to begin the season. Both of them have reached base in 11 of their first 18 plate appearances. And a shot off the end of the bat down the left field line, foul. 0-2.
Nomar, you've had streaks like that. It's got to feel really good to step into the box.
You don't want them to end. You just want to keep your routine going, what you're doing in batting practice. You want the feel. You want it all. You don't want anything to change.
Are we into wearing the same socks and a lot of T-shirts or whatever?
I did, because I was just crazy too.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. But clean.
But then
clean.
But then once you took an offer or a couple days without a hit, did you get rid of those? They went in the trash. You got a new T-shirt.
I changed things up.
Yeah.
Certain things went in the trash.
When I went into a deep slump, I cleaned my whole locker out.
Wow.
Cleaned about 2-3 starts without getting a W or giving it up. That locker's getting cleaned out.
Throwing stuff away, you're saying?
Yeah,
new
T-shirts, new underwear, new jock, new everything. Like, okay, I'm done with this stuff. There's no wins in those clothes. I didn't call it superstition. I didn't feel like it was a superstition. I just felt like it just gave me something to do to kind of give me a fresh start mentally.
It's a superstition.
Oh, okay.
I was like, some might call that a superstition, because that's what I did, and I said it was superstitious.
Good take by Gonzalez. It's 2-2. 3 for 4 yesterday with an RBI. Scored 2 of the Dodgers' 6 runs. And the 12-6 defeat. Came back with a 2-2. Gonzalez hits a fly ball to left center field. Span back on it with Pagan, who runs under it for the first out of the inning.
With the rain, it's a little soupy right here. We've seen some balls that have been hit real well that are not getting out of here. And it's a tough place to hit a home run.
It's a big ballpark. We all know that. But I'll tell you what, the way Pagan went after that ball, because Pagan usually takes some pretty decent routes at balls. And it looked like that one just had some, it like kept carrying away from him. And I don't know if it was with the rain or what it might have been. But he wasn't too sure out there on that ball.
Yasiel Puig with another base hit into center. And his red-hot start continues.
The one thing about Yasiel is he's been red hot, but I'm also watching where the balls are going for Yasiel off his bat. Whether he did pull some balls yesterday, he had a home run, but kind of to left center. Here's the ball, first pitch swinging, but it's up the middle rather than first pitch swinging and almost pulling off of the ball where you get too big, where we've seen Yasiel do that in the past. These are all very positive signs.
You know, sometimes guys get off to hot starts. You see good runs in the numbers, but trained eyes can look and see that it's maybe not going to last. I know you see with him and with Jock Peterson with a good start, Snowbar, reasons to believe what they're doing is sustainable.
Well, it's definitely positive. They're staying on the ball. I see their front shoulder not flaring out quite as often. It's just a matter of them recognizing what they're doing.
Well, the one thing I've seen with Yasiel is if he continues this approach, the defense that they are playing against him in the outfield and the infield is going to be wrong. He's hitting a lot of holes because he is hitting the ball in new places with this better approach.
A ball and no strikes on Jock Peterson. Got that one off of the handle. Crawford in short center. 2 out. Second straight start for Scott Van Slyke, who had an RBI double in yesterday's game for his first hit of the season. That's with the man at first, 2 gone and a scoreless second.
Two out with Yasiel Speed over there. Kane paying attention, knowing the risk reward for the Dodgers is a lot lower right now. You get thrown out at second trying to get into scoring position with 2 outs. You just get a fresh start next inning. You can kill an inning if you're not real fast or don't get a good jump.
And these are and a lot of times, you know, when you're base stealing, you're thinking, okay, Jock Peterson was up. I don't want to steal with Jock on. Even though I know both these guys can hit the ball out of the park, but I can also give them that hole with the first baseman holding them on. Now 2 outs might be worth a try.
That's a strike. It's the second straight start for Van Slyke. Alana Rizzo, you have more on why.
Well, Carter Crawford has been dealing with a muscular back issue, guys, basically since the middle of spring training until about the end of spring training, and they were giving him days off in spring as best that they could. They're trying to keep this issue at bay. Dave Roberts did say he could come in a pinch hit situation if need be, but you will not see him out there defensively. And it's just another issue with Carl's back that he's been dealing with for quite some time. We'll see how this one goes. They do not expect for him to play tomorrow, and then of course on Sunday they'll see, and then the day off on Monday, so he'll probably be back in there on Tuesday.
So a chance, Alana, really for him to get 5 consecutive days off, and a chance for him to heal without a DL stint. 1 ball and 2 strikes. With the back-to-back days off here. Tomorrow it's a left-handed pitcher, so he wouldn't be in the lineup normally. For the off day Monday, you give him 1 additional day on Sunday against a right-hander. Almost a full week resting that back, and a chance to not have to go down in the DL.
A lot of strategy happens around the big league schedule, depending on if you have veteran players you're trying to rest. You have 2 or 3 guys that can play but are ailing and maybe could use a blow. And you try and time it up with the schedule, with the opposing team's starting pitchers, with the ballparks you might be playing in. If it's got indoors, is it outdoors? It's going to be really cold. And there's so many different little details that a manager and a GM look at to schedule the off days.
And in the Dodgers case right now, they're even factoring the fact that when maybe Yasmani and Howie Kendrick are going to be healthy and ready to play.
A.J. Ellis due up next in a scoreless second inning. Weak with a 1-out single. He's at first. And Cain to Van Slyke with a 2-2. Outside, Puig took off, got a good jump. It bounces in, and he's under the tag.
Well, we talked about a good time. This would be a time that Cohen Trice even get in the scoring position. He gets a relatively good jump, peeks in just in case Van Slyke swings at that, but I was noticing his hand when he swung. I was wondering if you noticed, okay, they might be able to avoid that tag as he moved his arm as he was sliding head first.
Looked like he was thinking about doing the swim slide just to get away from it, but didn't need to.
So chance for the Dodgers to get on the board with 2 outs here. Van Slyke yesterday had an RBI double that came with 2 gone to make it a 4-0 game in the 4th inning. Cain home with a payoff, and Van Slyke cranks a fly ball to center, but Denard Span has room, and the inning is over. Cain pitches around a 1-out single. The bottom of the 2nd we go in San Francisco. MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest growing LTE network. 2nd inning for Ross Stripling. Set the Giants down in order in the 1st. It's Belt, Duffy, and Crawford here in the 2nd. And there's that big spike curve for strike 1.
First time around the order for the Giants. They're going to be gathering a lot of information about Ross Stripling. They're going to try and get a read on him.
Back-to-back curves to Belt. And Turner charges and makes the play, which can't be an easy play as a third baseman moving over there into short right to make that play.
When Justin Turner came over as a Dodger, he was in a battle with Dee Gordon for the second base job. So he's used to being over there on that side of the infield. When he lost that job to Dee Gordon coming out of spring training, then he just developed as a guy that could move around the infield, play maybe even left field, because then the bat grew, and then he ended up finding a home at third base.
We scored that as 5-3 at 4, right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Almost
now.
at 3.
Yeah. At Duffy.
You'll see that a lot. You often see now the third baseman playing over there as compared to just everybody moving over there. Almost one guy out of position as compared to getting 2 out of position with the shortstop moving on that side. And then we've seen that even on teams already, that some of those third basemen have played second base as well. So in the case of Justin Turner, as you mentioned, it's not unfamiliar.
2-2 on Duffy. 2 for 5 in yesterday's game. The Giants scoring 12 runs on 17 hits yesterday. It's the second time in their first 4 games they've played at 12, and it's the first time since 1884 that they've done that. That is 12 runs in a game twice over the first 4. They weren't even the Giants then. They were the New York Gothams. How cool is that name? 1884. Duffy with a shot to right. Puig charges on, lays out and makes the catch. Yasiel Puig steals a base hit from Duffy.
Great play by Yasiel Puig. Tough read when that's line drive right at you. And also when you dive, you got to make sure you're getting that glove up so you don't stick it in the ground and hurt yourself. And he came up after he showed that he had it. We're wondering, is he okay? But I think it's more the way he landed on his belly than it is anything else. Came up and Stripling appreciating the effort.
Still grimacing some. As Brandon Crawford comes up. Shows bunt, takes ball 1. Boy, that helps you out, huh, Earl? Your first big league start, you get some backing like that.
Sometimes it's easier to pitch at the big league level because of the great defense you get than it is at Double-A, which Ross was his last experience.
Run it up the third base line, testing Stripling, who throws low, and he gets more defensive help. Adrian Gonzalez off one bounce. And a 1-2-3 second. 6 up and 6 down for Ross Stripling.
You want defense all around. First game, getting a little help from your Gold Glove.
Against Matt Cain, who pours in a fastball strike. We talk about the great defense Ross Stripling's getting so far to help him out in his big league debut. How about having a guy like A.J. Ellis to catch your big league debut?
Well, if you can locate, A.J. knows where you need to throw the ball, and he can adjust with you as your stuff changes throughout the game, which it does. One inning you might have your curveball, another inning you might have your slider. And very calming to know that your catcher is so prepared, not only mentally, but emotionally. And A.J. is really good at jockeying guys through a game.
Get off this third inning by striking out, taking one of the knees, one away. You had Steve Yeager for your big league debut, right?
Yeah, Steve Yeager was behind the plate, and then consistently Steve was near the end of his career, as we see Ross's family up there watching him in his first big league at bat. Mom cheering, the others looked a little nervous. Most of the time I had Mike Scioscia, who was outstanding, and Steve was outstanding too, just wasn't around as long as he was nearing the end.
Stripling drives one in the air to center. Stan moves over and makes the play. Stripling can hit some, and the minors was 6 for 22. It's a pretty darn good average. Limited at bats. I think his family's just happy that he put it in play, judging by that reaction.
Well, just think about all the reps he got as a hitter too, because he said he didn't start pitching until he was 18.
Right.
So here he is, 26 in his big league debut. He's been on the DL because of the Tommy John surgery. So I'm sure the bat is very familiar to him.
Second time through the order now. Here's Chase Utley, who drew a 4-pitch walk to open the game.
So what you're saying, he hasn't had enough time to lose that athleticism?
Oh, yeah. I wish we had a booth cam right now, because I could say some things in a sarcastic manner and you could see my face, but I'm going to hold my tongue.
Yeah, it's harder to read the sarcasm when you can't peek in here and see us shoving each other.
I felt bad the other night, guys. I said something sarcastic. I'm like, the people at home didn't get that one. That sounded really arrogant.
Breaking ball snapped off for a strike. Utley's down 1-2.
Matt Cain looks like a different pitcher to me. He doesn't look like Matt Cain, the young man that could really just dominate a league, but he's back to being able to recreate his mechanics and repeat them.
Breaking ball pulled off of Belt, picked up by Panic. Close play at first, not in time. Chase Utley beats it out. And they say that Cain came off of the bag as they try to go with the old 3-4-1 put out at first base.
I hope Chase gets a hit on this. He has hit so many bullets this series and got nothing to show.
They should mark it as a hit, but what I was so impressed with is how fast Chase Utley got down the line. We're talking about 37-year-old legs. Looks like he was safe right there. I don't even know if Cain necessarily even got his foot on the bag there as he stepped next to the bag.
That's a hit for sure.
But then, you know, the one thing when you're watching Chase is we're talking about there's no leadoff hitter for the Dodgers, and so far in these first 5 games, he's looked every bit as a leadoff hitter.
And it is ruled a base hit, brings up Corey Seager, who takes ball 1. He started all 5 games in the leadoff spot, has Utley, and likely will be out of there tomorrow with the left-handed starter. The first left-handed starting pitcher that the Dodgers see this year, other than Madison Bumgarner, tomorrow afternoon. Seager rolls one off of the handle to second. Panic will throw him out, bring it into the third inning. Dodgers with a single base runner in all 3 innings against Kane, but nothing to show for it. To the bottom half, no score.
Don't overthink it. You know, that's the biggest thing. His stuff is good enough to be here. He's a very talented guy, and I know he's going to be amped up and excited, but don't overthink these guys. These hitters can get out just like everybody else, so just make your pitches, throw strikes, and have a little fun.
And guys, Clayton Kershaw added that he really doesn't remember his debut. He joked that he blacked out because he was so nervous, and he said, you know what, if you're not nervous, it really doesn't matter to you guys.
Or how long did it take your nerves to go away in that first start?
Well, the first start came in '84, but my first time in the big leagues was September of '83. So I had the month of September, and then I was named to the playoff roster that year. Didn't get in, and then made the team in '84 out and was a reliever doing terribly. And then we went to New York, and Rick Honeycutt and Jerry Royce got hurt out of the rotation. They needed a starter. I walked into the ballpark on a Saturday day game, getting off the team bus, and I saw a ball on my stool in Shea Stadium. I'm like, I'm a young guy. I'll probably get shipped down to AAA soon. My ERA so bad. What's a ball doing on my stool? Who wants my autograph? Well, Tommy Lasorda put the ball there, and he was waiting at his manager's office watching me come in. I picked the ball up.
Down in the air to center. Peterson. It's an awkward catch for the first out of the inning.
I picked the ball up, and Tommy said, "You're in there today, kid. It's your start." And yeah, I went 7 innings, a shutout ball in Shea Stadium, and I was fortunate to never leave the rotation for 10 years. And all just, everything kind of just clicked. I mean, I think my ERA was like 6 in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I got to start and figured it out.
Trevor Brown now. 7 up, 7 down in Ross Stripling's major league debut. He pours in a fastball for strike 1. Little different for a position player in his debut, just as far as you have a little more time to think about, right? I mean, as a pitcher, you get out there and you're going.
You have the ball in your hand as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I remember my first ground ball. I mean, I got in there in the 8th inning, just like 1 inning, got 1 at bat, but my first ground ball bobbled it. And I was actually at second base. Got the out though, but I bobbled it. The nerves were coming through your body.
Wow.
And here's the first strikeout. That's where they're getting the ball. AJ Ellis didn't even bother throwing it around. I was like, here, throw that in real quick, and now we'll throw it around.
So Trevor Brown, the first strikeout victim, and it comes on that curve.
There's curveball right there. The spike curve is where you're really throwing it with your middle finger, and you're spiking up and bending your index finger up to kind of get it out of the way. It makes it a lot easier to spin the ball, but at times it can make it harder to control the ball.
Strike to Matt Cain. He joked around during that media session you were referencing, Nomar. He talked to the press after he was named the 5th starter the other day. Somebody asked him to show his grip for the spike curve, and he said, well, I would show you, but I can't because it involves me lifting my middle finger. So he wouldn't even show him the grip because he was afraid of offending people with it.
I could see
I think
that.
they would have understood.
Yeah. The kids at home that are like looking at their dad now, can I try that spike curve?
Yeah.
Let's just wait on that until our arms are developed.
And he strikes out Cain with a fastball once through the order, and not a single base runner for a Giants team that scored 12 runs yesterday. 9 up, 9 down for Ross Stripling in his big league debut. Striking out Trevor Brown and Matt Cain to finish the 3rd. Dodgers trying to get him some support. Turner, Gonzalez, and Puig coming up against Cain here in the 4th inning. Turner grounded out to short his first time after getting yesterday off. Easing him back in after that microfracture surgery on his left knee late October last year. Didn't make his spring debut until midway through March. Dave Roberts buying off days for him and some of the other veterans where he can.
Well, I think that also plays into the versatility that the Dodgers, what we've seen the Dodgers have last year and this year, how they've really embraced guys that can play multiple positions. And we see Dave Roberts enjoying that as well. He talked about going into the season that he really has to figure out to get guys rest.
It's part of the benefit of having the amount of depth that they have. Three balls and a strike on Turner. When you can swap Chase Utley and Howie Kendrick as your second baseman, for example, I think you're a little more likely to be okay giving one of those guys a day off. Same thing when they can both play third in the case of Turner. You need to give him a day of rest. Loop down the right field line. It's Belton into the bullpen to make the play. 1 out. Adrian Gonzalez coming to the plate. We check in with Alana.
Well, Adrian Gonzalez reached yet another milestone in his tremendous career a couple of days ago, guys, when we were in San Diego. He had his 1600th career start Tuesday against the Padres. You can see the numbers there. I think what is most impressive, and I'm sure Nomar can speak to this being a position player, and Oral too, just the length of time he played in the bigs. 10 straight seasons with at least 155 games. Don Mattingly said last year that Adrian Gonzalez is one thing: high production, low maintenance. You always know what you're going to get.
That's such a huge compliment when somebody says you're low maintenance. There are so many things over the course of a season that you're, for managers, for team, organization, you're worried about from a health standpoint, from a consistency standpoint, playing. The guys are, when they're playing well, playing bad. But when you're low maintenance and you know what you're going to get on a regular basis from Adrian Gonzalez, it makes you as a manager's life so much easier. And yes, that 155 in 10 seasons is unbelievable.
Yeah, in that decade, he leads the majors in games played. Iron Man for the Dodgers waits on an 0-2 and shoots one past the mound to short. It's Crawford, 2 out.
It's an incredible feat what he's done so far, and I think it even just goes to show how much more impressive Cal Ripken's streak is. I mean, that's to me the most unbelievable achievement in all of sports.
You think it's unbreakable?
I do. I really do.
I think it's definitely unbreakable.
It's especially just in this game, and what it like I said, I didn't appreciate what he did until I played professional baseball, and I was like, wow.
The first thing you do is you book all the bets of everybody who wants to bet against it, and you just collect the interest on the money as you wait for the guy to break it.
Right. Wade singled his first time and has now reached in 12 of his 19 plate appearances this year. Waits on this 0-1. Tries to lay off, couldn't. Falls behind Kane, 0-2. Early pitchers duel going in San Francisco. Kane trying to work a 1-2-3 inning. Wade went down and got a low breaking ball, rolled it over to Duffy, who throws him out. And Kane does work his first true 1-2-3 frame of the night. To the bottom of the fourth, Giants still looking for their first base runner against Ross Stripling.
To the bottom of the fourth, Ross Stripling making his major league debut and getting a little help from his defense. Great effort out there by Van Slyke. And how about this by Yasiel Puig, thinking there's a base hit and he robs him. Then he tries to help himself out. Let's not forget the Gold Glove at first. Nice plays all around. Keep it going, young man.
The Dodgers last year, fewest errors in the majors. Second time through the order now. Bernard Span hit a long fly ball his first time and takes strike one. You talked about it all first trip through. A lot of information gathering from this lineup, but it'd be interesting to see how the approach changes here the second time through.
Yeah, we got to hear Clayton Kershaw say, don't overthink it. And this is where you can start to overthink it. A 0-0 game going toe-to-toe with Matt Cain and the San Francisco Giants. Second time through, just execute and follow A.J. Ellis.
A.J. sets over the outer half. And he swings and foul tips it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
thinking here at Game 5, and very similar because we don't know what he has, and we're all on our heels, just like we did with Kenta Maeda. Two guys making their major league debut.
Going off speed on 1-2. Looped in the air to shallow center. Peterson coming on. He lays out and joins the defensive party. Another gem from the Dodgers defense. One away in the 5th or in the 4th.
You don't make these catches without good jumps, accurate routes, and great athleticism. Yasiel Puig in right, Scott Van Slyke in left, and now Jock Peterson in center. This is not an easy read at all. Stick out the bat, drop it out there. That should fall in. Not here in the big leagues with the Dodgers, Ross.
Joe Panik takes ball 1. Man, it is all over the place. Guys making plays to help Stripling. One day after the defense was as sloppy as it's been at any point in this young season.
I'll tell you, playing defense behind a pitcher, you're always thinking, okay, you make every play for them. That's what your job is. But when you make a nice play and you see your pitcher's emotion and reaction, you love to see it. You appreciate that as a player, recognizing that he appreciates your effort.
How about when you were playing defense behind a guy like Stripling, making a first-time start? Was there added motivation to help the kid?
Absolutely. Everybody, it's no secret it's his first start. You're excited for him, and you want to make everything you can for him.
Nomar's the kind that would trot in from shortstop if the kid goes 1-0, 2-0 and say, come on, kid, just throw a strike. We got your back here. He'd do something to get him back into it, give him confidence to attack the strike zone.
It's 3-1 to Joe Panik is up, and there's the first base runner of the game for the Giants. Be sure to mark your calendar. Wednesday, April 13th, Dodgers host the D-backs at 7:10, and the first 40,000 fans in attendance get an adult hooded sweatshirt presented by Bank of America. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions for more. Hunter Pence drilled a ball his first time up that Van Slyke ran down in the warning track. So much going on in that batter's box with Pence.
Nomar can relate.
What are you talking about?
Pence has got his feet working the way you had your gloves.
It was just my gloves and my toes. I was just tightening my gloves and tapping my toes.
I'll tell you what, I'm surprised you're not a dancer.
You haven't seen me.
You got moves?
Okay.
No, but he hasn't seen me.
Right.
He doesn't know that.
I'm a little past the clubbing days.
Panik at first with one gone. Stripling's 1-1. Curve slip, 2-1.
See, with all those moves by Hunter Pence, it doesn't matter. You know, he's just a gamer. Like, he's just, the moves are like, he's attacking the batter's box, he's gripping that bat, just one glove on, he's ready to just attack the ball.
Primal.
It's after it.
Careful with this pitch. Was, and it's 3-1.
You know, for Hunter, Pence, you look at him, it's not about looking pretty in there, it's about getting the job done. It's about, listen, I don't care what you think. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to beat you. That's his mentality.
Acquired by the Giants at the deadline in 2012 after 4.5 years with Houston and a year with the Phillies. It takes ball 4. That's back-to-back one-out walks here in the 4th.
This is where Ross has got to really zero in on A.J. Good visit by A.J. to get out there and focus him in. It's one thing to have the nerves at the beginning of the game. It's another thing to be in a pitcher's duel. And now the nerves can creep back because you have something to lose.
Brandon Belt hits cleanup today. Benson, Belt, and Duffy all sliding up the spot in the order. Buster Posey getting the day off. Played the left-handed hitter to pull. Ellis sets away. Strike one. Started him with a change.
Well, that was an outstanding changeup for one that's in development and the scouts haven't graded too high yet. That was a big league pitch. First and second, one out. Fastball, dead fastball hitter. AJ, a very nice veteran catcher, calling off speed on the first pitch.
See what he calls on an 0-1. Fastball, low and outside. Count evens up.
I'm looking at the defense right now. When you have the playing him the pull, so it's a double play. You're looking for that double play situation. But if it happens to get hit to third, the guy who covers second is not going to be your second baseman. It's going to have to be your shortstop, Corey Seager, at a different angle.
Belt hits a fly ball to left. Easily playable for Van Slyke. 2 away. And those are things, you know, with the proliferation of the shift, Nomar, that are having to be worked on during spring training as you get going into the season that I'm sure you didn't have to deal with when you were playing.
Not quite as much. There were an occasion, there were guys you're going to have to shift, but when they happened, you were all out of sorts. It's funny, before that pitch was thrown, before that at bat, there was a lot of talking going on between Chase and Corey to Justin Turner. And also the whole infield was in communication, say, okay, where am I positioning myself and who has what ball when it's hit to you?
It's Duffy with 2 outs. And he looks at that curve, strike one. Duffy was one of the best hitters in baseball in these situations as a rookie last year. Hit .366 with runners in scoring position. Here's an 0-1. Went to it again, buckled his knees again. Strike 2.
Well, your first instinct as a hitter is when you see that ball go up, you're like, it's a ball, it's too high. And then it has enough break to hit that strike zone. So you end up like just giving up on it right out of the hand. And it's hard to give up and then kind of restart your swing. And you just freeze.
Do they go to it again? Something hard this time, and it's right at Chase Utley to finish the inning. Stripling and Ellis together help the Dodgers get around a pair of 1-out walks, and it stays scoreless. With Orel and Nomar and Alana, Joe Davis at AT&T Park on a rainy Friday night. Game 2 of the season series between the Dodgers and Giants. Well, back to his defensive play as we look at our Carl's Cam replay. This is one of many great defensive plays so far tonight.
And Jock Peterson laying out in center field, sacrificing the body. We saw one from Yasiel Puig doing that. That one by Jock is definitely worthy of a Carl's Cam.
I think we did our Carl's Cam replay on his home run yesterday, which traveled more than 440 feet. His first of the season. Only Nelson Cruz over the last 2 years has hit more home runs 440 feet or longer.
So is there a fence that's over 440 feet in the big leagues? I don't think there is now, is there?
No.
Just let them know that. They don't have to hit it that far.
Yeah, save some.
The only one I'm thinking of is possibly Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Center field.
The Towles Hill that was out there.
His home run from yesterday brought the Dodgers back to within a run in the late innings. No doubt shot into the deepest part of the park, 442 feet. The 8th time that he's gone deep with a home run of that distance over his first year plus.
I remember doing a segment last year in the first half when he was hitting so many home runs and we plotted them. And most of them were pulled to right field. And we were wondering with that approach if he was going to be able to keep it up. And I love the approach this year and where that ball went because he's using the middle of the field more, which shows that he might be able to continue the production.
Pulls this one down the right field line, and it's a fair ball into the corner. Joc Pederson with a double to start the fifth. After he fell down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
Just like you said, pull. No, he's been having great at-bats this season so far. 2 strikes, battling, getting a ball, keeping his head down on the ball and driving it. Now, what we've seen also from the Dodgers do so far this young season is doing the little things. Now it's move the guys over. This is a tough spot for Scott Van Slyke because this isn't about moving them over because you want a couple of chances to try to knock them in before that pitcher gets up.
Misses with ball 1.
And the reason I say it's tough because you have to make your decision here. Am I thinking about going to right field right now, or do I just maybe whatever pitch I can handle to drive them in, even if I have to pull it? And the reason I'm saying, because you're going, okay, well, if I move them over, there's A.J. Ellis. A.J. Ellis, and you're going, then there's the pitcher. So the pitcher, probably, if he bunts, so then that just moves him over, and then there's 2 outs there, and now you have to come up with a 2-out RBI rather than let me take a chance at it. If I don't come through with it, then maybe they want to pitch to A.J. or not. We'll see how that goes, and then deal with the pitcher bunting, and then deal with that. But you don't want to just give it up right now. You're going, I got to take a chance and knock him in, no matter where that ball's pitched.
I'd want Scott Van Slyke to hit for himself. Barrel it up anywhere on the field.
He's got a good count to try and do it. Here's a 2-0. That one to hit. 2-1. Matt Cain, who's faced the Dodgers 30 times in his career, only has 5 wins though. Hasn't beaten the Dodgers in almost 3 years. His 2-1 pitch is lashed in the air to left center. Span and Pagan combine, and it's Span to make the play for the first out. Cain missing time with the elbow problems the last 2 seasons. Hasn't even faced the Dodgers since 2014. 5-11 with an ERA of 3.5 in his career against LA. A.J. Ellis 0 for 1, lone strikeout victim of Cain so far tonight.
AJ's trying to reach base right here. Yeah, he's trying to drive in the run, but just to reach base might give Chase Utley an opportunity at the top of the order after Ross Stripling.
AJ 1 for 9 so far this year. It's on this 0-1. Takes it for a ball.
In baseball, a funny game. We got a 12-6 rout, but slugfest. Both sides swinging the bat great. Tonight you get a guy coming back from surgery, 5th starter slot, and a major league debut by Ross Stripling, and you've got a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, between your 2 5 starters. Comes a 1-1. A little bit low. Good take from AJ. Jumps ahead in the count on a big swing pitch. Ellis hammers a base hit into left center. RBI single for A.J. Ellis, bringing home Pederson, and the Dodgers strike first.
They laid off a 1-1 slider to get the count to 2-1. Matt Cain wants to get back in there in that strike zone. Maybe get this done with the 8th and the 9th hitter. Gets a fastball up on the inner half, stays inside it, and hits a scorching line drive. We've seen AJ offensively a little extra concentration sometimes when he is ushering a pitcher like Kershaw through a night like tonight, or even a Ross Stripling in a major league debut. Not only will I usher you with my fingers, but we're going to help you out with the bat.
And it all started with that good leadoff double by Jock Peterson.
So now Stripling's up there to sacrifice. And he'll have a quick word with Chris Woodward. Be going over some signs.
And he might be telling him also where the defense is pitching him right there at third. Just let's try and get the bunt towards the pitcher or first base, just deaden it out there.
Duffy way out of the grass at third. Stripling bunts it up the first base line, foul.
Great job with the bunt. Just don't be so fine with making sure it's right down the first base line.
Well, when you were bunting, did you also think about who was running? That maybe I had to be finer because the guy on first base doesn't have as much speed?
A little bit. Yep. And that just comes into what technique you're going to use. You know, or do I just need to deaden it out there 10 feet anywhere? It doesn't matter if it's third, pitcher, or first, or do I really need to get the right angle too?
Pulls it back, swings away, strike two.
Well, that shows you what they think about of his ability to handle the bat right there. Dave Roberts has seen him in the cage. He's seen him being able to do that. You don't cut somebody loose like that unless you have seen a lot of examples of them being able to make contact.
And life flashes before your eyes if you're Matt Duffy on that slash play. Who comes back in here, squaring around his Stripling, and he bunts through it. Strike three. You can guarantee your tickets to opening day with the Dodgers mini plan. Choose from great promotional games. Go to Dodgers.com/mini plans for more. So they do get around to Chase Utley, but it's with Ellis still anchored to first. The Dodgers in front 1-0 here in the fifth. Utley's reached both times. A walk in the first, a single in the third. Utley went from being a guy who people looked at when the Dodgers re-signed him to a one-year contract as perhaps a luxury, especially after they brought Howie Kendrick back. With the injury to Howie Kendrick, Utley thrown into the everyday role to begin the season, and not just that, but the leadoff role, and he's excelled. So now when Kendrick comes back next week, Dave Roberts with an additional bit of juggling to do.
It's a good problem to have. As Davis said, these things have a tendency to work themselves out.
Out of it first with two away. Cain to Utley with a 1-2. Line drive, base hit into center. Ellis up to second. It's a shame that Stripling wasn't able to advance him. And 2 on with 2 out brings up Seager.
Nice at bat by Chase Utley. We've been talking about just this offense. How they're not pulling off the ball. They are staying on it. They're driving it back up the middle. I mean, of the 13 hits from yesterday's game that the Dodgers had, 8 of them were either up the middle or to the opposite field.
Corey Seager had one of those hits yesterday. He's 0 for 2 today. It seems like collectively, Nomar, this lineup has had a really nice approach over the first week.
They really have. I agree with you. And whether it's something that they've been talking over with Turner Ward, Tim Hires, the hitting coaches, about what their game plan is, or what they, collectively amongst each other, what makes them better as a team. But they have seemed to have really good approaches. And even, they've had them where they, even yesterday, they swung first pitch Jake Peavy at one inning where they were all attacking, not afraid to swing at the first pitch. They were swinging at first pitch strikes, so they're swinging at strikes as well. But it's not just swinging and flailing at it. It's not a big swing. It's swinging with a purpose, swinging with trying to accomplish something.
2 on, 2 out, and an 0-2.
Matt Cain on the mound. He's now at 79 pitches. The most he threw in spring training was 88. He's the 4th hitter next inning. So Corey can get a hit here, driving another run. You might see their bullpen get some activity. Maybe a double switch if the inning continues. If not, you probably will see Cain get pinch hit for next inning.
Seager pulls one over second, a base hit. Pence up with it. Ellis coming for the plate. He'll score standing on an RBI base hit from Corey Seager, and it's 2-0 Dodgers.
2 out RBIs, Nomar. Break a team's soul.
Don't we love them?
They're fantastic as a starting pitcher. Ross Stripling in there throwing zeros up. Watches his catcher get a base hit, drive in a run. Now he gets to see his catcher score on a base hit by his shortstop, and it just keep it moving, keep the door rolling, and just score the runs. That's all part of that approach, Noam. Contact, good at bats.
Good reaction from that dugout. Yasiel Puig leading the cheers over the first base Dodger dugout on Seager's base hit. Dave Righetti, after a quick visit, back into that third base dugout. And now Matt Cain has to face the Dodgers 3-hitter Justin Turner. He's been one of the best hitters with runners in scoring position in baseball over the last handful of seasons. He and Howie Kendrick, really the only bright spots last year for the Dodgers in that category. Turner hits a fly ball to right. Easy play for Pence, but the Dodgers break the scoring seal with a couple of runs against Cain. Ellis with an RBI. San Francisco still searching for its first hit against Ross Stripling in his big league debut. Ross has become the first Los Angeles Dodger starting pitcher in his debut game to throw 4 hitless innings to start that debut. Brandon Crawford takes ball 1. And he's doing it against the rival Giants. He is only the 4th Dodger ever to make his debut in a game at the Giants ballpark, whether that be in New York or here in San Francisco. A guy named Ed Appleton back in 1915 made his major league debut for Brooklyn at the New York Giants. Tossed a complete game win. Although Appleton would only pitch a couple of years in the majors. So a shiny debut for him. 2 balls and a strike on Crawford. Johnny Padres made his debut in 1953 at New York. Gave up 3 runs over 7 innings, but took the loss. And Hideo Nomo, 1995 at Candlestick Park. 5 shutout innings and a no decision. 2-2 on Crawford. The stage proving not to be too big for Ross Stripling. Somebody asked him last week, how do you feel about going and making your big league debut in San Francisco in front of more than 40,000? He cited his time at Texas A&M pitching in the College World Series as preparation for an environment like this. And a curveball hit softly back to him. 1 out.
This is like going to Texas A&M on a campus visit when you're a high school senior. and they assign an upperclassman, and he happens to be named A.J. Ellis. And you just follow him around. You shadow him at classes. You follow him to baseball practice. You might even go to a party that night. But you follow him around no matter where he goes. You ask him what to do.
Well, it keeps going the way it's going right now. It might be a little party tonight. Angel Pagan out of the 7 spot. Takes that curve for a strike. Speaking of visits, Ross Stripling has only been to this ballpark one time. It was while he was pitching for Rancho, Dodgers minor league affiliate. They bust here. The entire team did to watch a Dodgers-Giants game. Pagan sends a fly ball to right center that Jock Peterson runs under for the second out. He said he remembers sitting at that game, the whole team decked out in Dodgers gear, so hearing it some from the Giants faithful, thinking to himself, can you imagine pitching in a Dodger-Giant game in this ballpark? Wonder if he could imagine 4 2/3 hitless innings pitching in this ballpark in his debut.
When he did, he was probably sleeping.
Just like Kenta Maeda was when he hit his first home run, right? That had to be a dream.
His big league life is a dream.
My goodness, Trevor Brown.
I still just love the silent treatment they gave Kenta. You know, he was just smiling about it as we have a look at that nice breaking ball by Stripling.
Dave Roberts said he won't throw more than 100 pitches tonight. He's at 62 with 2 gone in the 5th and his 0-2. It's a pitch that he got Brown on Brown's first time. This time he lays off, ball 1.
Over the top left-handed curveball Clayton Kershaw. Over the top right-handed 12-6 curveball Ross Stripling. Kind of resembles Clayton's. It's a little smaller, but the same kind of effect on a hitter where it looks like it's going to be way too high and then it drops down, or if it starts out level, it gets in the dirt in a hurry.
26-year-old out of Texas in his big league debut. Has 5 no-hit innings against the San Francisco Giants. And 21 members of his family, friends making the trip to take it all in. Dave Roberts' team trying to move to 4-1 in the young season with a 2-0 lead as we go to the 6th. Adrian Gonzalez ready to lead it off against Matt Cain. 1-year anniversary of that 3-home run game for Gonzalez against Andrew Cashner at Dodger Stadium against the Padres. Hard hit into the shift. Joe Panik from short right. Of course, last year, guys, he became the first guy ever to hit 5 home runs in his team's first 3 games. How about what Trevor Story is doing for the Rockies in his big league debut? 6 home runs now in the first 4 games of his career.
He's thinking the big leagues is too easy.
Yeah, right. What's the
right?
Where do I get called up from here?
What's the next level?
He showed that pop in spring training too.
We cues it back to Cain, who knocked it down, picked it up, and threw him out. We busting up that line 2 away.
That's impressive. Impressive when you can make a comebacker to the pitcher a close play at first base. That's hustling. That's where people say, oh, he's playing it right. He's getting down the line.
You know what I like? There were no change of gears after he saw the ball get away. So the initial contact hits the pitcher's glove, and there was never like, oh, now I need to start trying. He was trying right out of the box.
Strike 1 to Jock Peterson. Started last inning with a double and came in to score the game's first run on an A.J. Ellis base hit. Ellis would score on a Corey Seager 2-out single. 2 runs on 6 hits for the Dodgers. No runs on no hits for the Giants. Ross Stripling getting plenty of backing from his defense, and that has included Jock Peterson in center. Canes 2-1. Dodgers go down in order in the 6th inning. Ross Stripling having a night to remember so far. Back to the bump in a moment. Just trying to even this series up at a game apiece. Up 2-0. No runs on no hits for the Giants against Ross Stripling, who's back out there for the 6th. And he will see for the first time tonight Gregor Blanco, who will pinch hit, ending Matt Cain's night. 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks, and plenty of stellar defensive plays behind Stripling. Curveball, strike 1. Two and two.
That's the thing he's done really well when he's fallen behind hitters tonight. He's been finding a way to get back into the count. Sometimes a little slider, sometimes a well-located fastball.
Gregor Blanco made his pro debut when Stripling was 10 years old. Fouls one down the left field line. Turner on a long run, won't get there, and we'll do it again. Dangerous spot to go running into with a head of steam. Justin a little bit slow to get up. Appears to be okay.
Well, we talk about it. Everybody recognizes it's Ross Stripling's debut, and we talked about how you feel as a defense. You want to make all the plays. You've already seen tremendous plays by this defense. You're trying to get after everyone. If you think you can have an inkling of making a play, you're sacrificing the body, sliding into the wall.
Struck him out. Not necessarily the pitch he was trying to throw, but it gets the job done. One away.
Even when it's up, it's been sharp. And we've got a lineup that has not seen him pitch before. They don't really understand what he's going to go to. What is his real out pitch? He's shown the slider. He's shown the curveball in the dirt. And he's even shown some high curveballs like that. They kind of disappear.
See Stripling shaking his head.
Yeah.
He knew. He goes, I got away with one.
Third time through the order now, and he tails one into Denard Span. Strike 1. Span twice. Has nearly gotten a hit. First time he crushed it to center field. Second time, diving play from Jock Peterson.
And one thing you notice with Ross, if this is going to continue, is when A.J. Ellis sets up, he's not making mistakes near the middle of the plate. He's on the correct side of the plate in the correct lane with most of his pitches. Even right there, that's a good miss. Yes, did he miss up? Yes, but he was over by the edge, the outside part of the plate. So it's a more of a minor correction to get a ball down, but be on the correct side of the plate. Like right there. When you're missing in 2 spots, like I'm going low and away, but you miss up and in, those are huge corrections to your mechanics, to your psyche, to what the catcher can even expect out of your arm. But when you're missing either just up or just down, but it's on the correct side of the plate, it's a little easier adjustment.
One gone, 6th inning. 2-2 to Denard Span. Ground ball, softly hit. Chase Utley, 2 up, 2 down.
Right there, fastball in, 2 pitches away, 1 up too high, then execute the next one, and then bring it right in under his hands. Hard to cover both sides of the plate.
At this stage, with 2 outs in the 6th, you start to take a look at that pitch count, which is at 76. And in the case of a guy who is only 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery, that becomes even more of a number to keep a close eye on as this thing continues to move forward. Joe Panik hits a fly ball to left field. 6 innings without a hit allowed by Rosterson and Ellis on base hits from Ellis and Seager. Both runs coming in the 5th. Dodgers out hitting the Giants 6-0. New pitcher into the game, George Cantos for San Francisco to face the bottom third of the Dodger order. And Slyke, Ellis, Stripling. Third opening day roster for George Cantos. Started the year with the Giants in 2013, then again last year. Spending much of 2014 in the minors. A breakout season last year. 2.33 ERA in those 73 games. Van Slyke pulls a line drive to left center. And a nice play by Pagan.
Good at bat by Van Slyke. Stays on the ball. He crushes it. Just a better play by Pagan out there in left field, staying with it. Not an easy play. You might think that he made it look harder than it had to be, but that was not easy because it was hit so hard by Van Slyke.
Ellis started scoring with a base hit in the 5th. To bring home Jock Peterson, who would let off that inning with a double against King. Book, by the way, is closed on Matt Cain. He goes 6 innings in his season debut. Strikes out 3, walks 1, and allows the 2 runs on 6 Dodger hits. Cantos to Ellis with an 0-1 pitch. More impressive tonight than Ellis's base hit with the RBI and the run scored has been the way that he's masterfully handled that guy as his battery mate.
Yeah, you're dealing with someone with nerves, with expectations, and once he starts to execute his pitches, you want to keep him in the groove.
Got him with a breaking ball. 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th. Be sure to head to Dodger Stadium Saturday, April 16th, game 2, when these 2 teams meet up next weekend. 6:10 start time. First 40,000 fans get a branded knit cap. Compliments of coffee bean and tea leaf. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Stripling 0 for 2 at the plate today. The line drive his first time, then struck out trying to bunt.
You're looking at a young man that missed the entire 2014 season because of Tommy John surgery, and then some of 2015 because of that rehab. He only made 14 starts between Single-A and Double-A in 2015, going 3-6 with a 3.66 ERA. But now in his major league debut, has not given up a hit.
Orel, at this point, if you're him, you want this at bat to end as quickly as possible and get back to work? Or
might just stand up there and take it, just see if he walks or you strike out looking. Or you swing the bat, ground out to first.
Yeah, save him some time, right? Bell flips it to Cantos. And back to the main attraction at this moment. Ross Stripling back to the mound in the bottom of the 7th. Giants still gunning for their first hit. '26-year-old Ross Stripling in his major league debut has held the Giants off of the board and has held the Giants without a hit through 6 innings. He is the first rookie pitcher, that is, to hold the opponent without a base hit through 6 innings for the first time since Jared Kozar did it in his debut for Houston at Tampa 3 years ago. 3, 4, and 5, the meat of the Giants' order. Hunter Pence bails out of there on a breaking ball that barely misses.
78 pitches, 48 strikes, 6 ground balls, 8 flyouts, 20 batters faced. This is the 21st.
Strike 1, tightened it up. Pence walked his last time. He flied out to the warning track back in the 1st inning. We started to talk about this earlier, but the pitch count now at 80 for a guy 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery. Dave Roberts yesterday, for the first time this season, had to make true decisions. Yeah, and he's potentially got a pretty big decision coming up before long here with Ross Stripling's pitch count. 3 balls and a strike on Hunter Pence. Just misses, ball 4.
There's a lot of things the Dodger management would like to see happen. A lot of it has already happened with Ross Stripling pitching so well. But the one thing they want to make sure of is his health and to get him up the tunnel in this game in a really good place, as this 3-1 fastball just misses. Our strike zone has it as maybe just nicking.
I have a strike. I have it as a strike.
It's phone down there. Brandon Belt.
Well, you know as well as I do, there are times when the pitcher is throwing well, they're getting those calls.
Exactly.
And even, I know even as an opposing batter, when I was thinking, man, that was borderline, it's, okay, he's throwing a gem. I understand why he got that call.
Belt's 0 for 2 today.
A lot of times when someone has a perfect game or a game without a hit going, you will not see action in the bullpen. But it really reveals some of the mentality on the bench about protecting Ross Stripling, the pitch count, the health, and it's more important to get him up the tunnel in a good mood than it is to make sure he has a chance at history.
A.J. Ellis up there to talk with him.
There's no clock on this visit because there's no manager or pitching coach.
A.J. Ellis turns 35 years old tomorrow. 37-year-old Chase Utley up there as well. The 21-year-old rookie Corey Seager up there to support Ross Stripling.
Start to miss, you walk a leadoff hitter when it's the 7th inning. You've had good command and all of a sudden you're missing. That is a sign of fatigue.
'85th pitch of the night to Brandon Belt. And that's 3 consecutive balls.
Would running down the first in the inning before ground be really affect you that much, or?
Not really, I don't think. No, I think it actually would help you get a little bit loose. But if you get tired in this cooler weather here with the humidity, you can start to stiffen up a little bit.
High strike, 3-1.
You see most of his misses have been up and up to the arm side. And that can show you at times either you're rushing, you're pulling off of your pitch, or you're not extending. You're not able to finish.
Tying run at the plate for the Giants in the 7th. Strike 2 over the outside corner, and he's located the last 2 after appearing to lose some control.
Buck Pence on a 3-1 fastball right on the edge. This time a 3-1. He gets the call. Well executed pitch. This could be huge right here. Throw a low strike, get a ground ball double play. It'll give you a breath of fresh air.
Bouncing ball. Turner's got it. There's 1. There's 2.
Outstanding way to battle your way back into the count. He might be in his major league debut, but this was a veteran at bat to dig yourself out of this hole. Up 2-0. Now 2 out. Nobody on. They're throwing strikes at the bottom, getting the grounder.
His fiance Shelby, his parents Hayes and Tammy, hardly controlled themselves watching this magical big league debut. Here's his reaction.
You get a shot of adrenaline after you make a pitch like that and get 2 outs. All of a sudden your arm feels loose.
Breaking ball bounced in there, but Duffy couldn't lay off.
Fastball low, the first pitch below the knees, but the first quality miss he's had, and then come right back with a hammer. That's a bottom fall to that one, Noam.
Same pitch, jam shot to second from the outfield grass. Utley throws him out. He's through 7 innings. He's thrown 91 pitches, and the Giants. W.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we treat kids better. Chase Utley has reached all 3 times tonight. A walk and 2 singles, and takes ball 1. Hunter Strickland. We talk about A.J. Ellis and the job that, or from Josh Osich, beg your pardon. We talk about A.J. Ellis and the job he's doing catching Ross Stripling. Some of the defensive plays we've seen around the diamond. Doesn't hurt having a veteran presence that can come in and help make those mound visits like Chase Utley has done a couple of times. We saw a moment ago, nobody in that bullpen. And we saw Pedro Baez early on last inning starting to warm. But at this point, it looks like that was because the Giants were starting to put a little bit of pressure in the context of the game, not in the context of how many pitches Ross Stripling has thrown.
He now has thrown 91, 54 for strikes. It's a young man that was actually optioned down out of camp and then got called back as part of the 5th starter battle. Beat Zach Lee and Carlos Frias to become the 5th starter.
In camp, you say it time after time, when you're there, when you're young, you haven't made it to the big leagues yet. You want to leave an impression when the opportunity presents itself. Well, he definitely took full advantage of that opportunity.
Chase Utley leading off this 8th inning by striking out against Osich. Enjoy MLB.TV Premium for a new low price in 2016. You can watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Corey Seager is 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Hard hit right at Panic, knocks it down, recovers, 2 gone. Talked earlier tonight, Oral, about there'll be butterflies, but are they flying in formation? They may have started to fly in formation early in the game. But
they might have disappeared middle of the game, but I think they've returned.
Coming back, right. Sixth spot in the Giants order due up in the 8th inning against Stripling. And so he would have to see the top of the order one more time before this night's finished. Justin Turner is 0 for 3.
The night that Ross Stripling is having, talk about the defense behind him, but also on the offensive side. Okay, you have 2, but you still want to keep putting some, those late runs as well. Just be huge. The Dodgers are capable of doing that.
Giants pitching has sat down 9 consecutive Dodgers until Justin Turner singles through the left side to keep this 8th inning rolling. Take a look at our Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam.
They're trying to get in there on Justin Turner. And he's able to get the barrel of the bat on that, hit a solid ground ball through the infield.
Brings up Gonzalez. With one swing could give the Dodgers some extra important breathing room going into the bottom of the 8th. Strike 1.
And that's what Adrian's talk about. What your thought process coming to the plate. Adrian's thinking about that at that moment, knowing, okay, I have a 2-0 lead. It's 2 outs. Early in the count, I'm going to try to see if I can get a pitch that I can handle and get my first home run of the year.
The late rain falling again. Here's an 0-1. Slice to left center field. That's down for a base hit. Cut off by Pagan. First to third, Turner. Back-to-back 2-out singles for the Dodgers. We've been talking about the pitch count with Ross Stripling is clearly something to take a look at. There's also heavier and heavier rain chances as we get deeper into this night. The bulk of the rain is supposed to arrive around 10 o'clock, about 45 minutes from now. Yasiel Puig.
Remember, in spring training, you not only want to build a pitcher's pitch count up to build his endurance, but his hot and cold, his ups and downs in innings. Ross Stripling, when he was in Double-A rehabbing coming back last year, he had 13 starts and he only averaged about 5 1/3 innings. 67 1/3 innings. So the hot and the cold too of getting up and down is tough on him tonight.
As rain starts to fall harder, does that spike curve become harder to control?
Well, fortunately, hopefully the rosin bag is dry out there. If he has problems gripping it, he needs to gather himself enough to ask for help from the umpires or a fresh rosin bag and protect his hand. But yeah, when you only have one finger that you're gripping it really hard with, it can slip a lot better than when you have 2. Easier to grip your 4-seam fastball because you can use the seams.
Yasiel swinging the bat. 3-0 definitely has the green light.
4-pitch walk. So after Osich retired the first 2 men of the inning, singles from Turner and Gonzalez, a walk from Puig, and Peterson comes to the plate with a chance to get the Dodgers a little bit more breathing room. Dave Righetti's out there to talk with Osich. They send another reliever down into the bullpen, Corey Guerin. As the long wait continues, more time to think about what lies ahead for Ross Stripling.
You know, it's interesting. The clock hasn't moved. The 30-second clock.
Home field advantage. Clock operator.
Didn't even start when he supposed to start when he steps out of the dugout.
It is as steady as the rain has been tonight, sending some of the folks scattering from their seats up into the covered concourse areas. And it is supposed to rain pretty much nonstop from the time that this front arrives until late tomorrow morning, early tomorrow afternoon. Turner's at third, Gonzalez at second, Puig at first with 2 gone in the 8th. And Jock Peterson stands in. Be one of those spots you're looking for one you can drive, right, Nomar?
That's it. Now it's not about a home run, just get a hit. And this would be a huge hit.
Well, there's a lot of breathing room out there for the Dodgers on the bases.
Peterson can sit dead red with the bases loaded and 2 gone in the 8th on this 2-0 pitch from Josh Osich. Low strike, 2-1.
If you can read lips, Dave Roberts saying that ball is down, and Jock Peterson thought it was down, and it definitely looked down. We have another look here, and we see that on pitch track. It looked down.
Here comes a 2-1. Peterson grounds it to first. Belt has it, flips high for Osich, who steps on the bag, and the inning is over. Back into the spotlight goes Ross Stripling with the rain falling in San Francisco. San Francisco watching the major league debut of Ross Stripling. He takes the mound in the 8th inning with the Giants having not recorded a hit. Chris Hatcher loosening for the Dodgers down in the bullpen. Stripling 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery. Readies for his 92nd pitch of the night to Crawford. What Ross Stripling is chasing has only been done in a major league debut one time, and it was in 1892 from a guy named Bumpus Jones. It's never been done from 60 feet 6 inches in a major league debut. The mound was 55 feet then. 1-2 on Crawford. A loop at right center that Puig runs under for the first out of the 8th. He's 5 outs away.
Before the game started, when Ross took the mound, his warm-ups, he was everywhere. He was erratic. You could tell the nerves were getting to him. He settled right in at the beginning of the game. The warm-ups before this inning, he was locked in. The ball was low. It was the correct side of the plate, and he was hitting A.J. Ellis's glove.
Angel Pagan is 0 for 2. Fly out to left and a fly out to center. And rain continues to fall. 97 pitches into the outing for Ross Stripling. And his family can barely watch anymore.
2-0 lead. You don't want to issue a free pass.
Two and one.
Play the game to win. If something special happens, you take the W with it.
26 years old from Texas, and his major league debut has held the Giants without a hit through 7 1/3. His 2-1 to Angel Pagan. Ball 3. He struck out 4. He's walked 3 tonight.
3-1 count. He walked Hunter Pence last inning, but then came back with a 3-1 fastball to belt to erase 2.
See what he does on this 3-1. Just misses. That's ball 4. On the 100th pitch of the night.
Knowles touched on it, that some of his misses have just barely been misses. At least they're on the right plane, and that one just missed.
Dave Roberts comes out of the dugout, has not signaled down to the bullpen yet, and he does. I saw Dave Roberts about 3.5 hours before the game, and he said, 100 pitches is probably the limit. He's definitely not going to go over 100. He didn't know what kind of responsibility would fall on his shoulders here in the 8th inning, with Ross Stripling delivering 7 1/3 without a hit. He hands it off to the bullpen. Chris Hatcher comes in a 2-0 game. What a debut for the 26-year-old Ross Stripling. A hit, but he leaves the game after pitch number 100 and hands the ball to Chris Hatcher, who faces off with Trevor Brown and delivers ball 1. So Hatcher's in, still with this thing going. Dodgers out hitting the Giants 8-zip. The tying run at the plate. Go ahead run in the on-deck circle in the form of Buster Posey coming off of the bench tonight. What do you think, guys?
Well, you can't let down. You got to go out there, keep playing, go for the win. That's what you're thinking about, from the bullpen to the defense. And I know a lot of people talk taking out Stripling. What a performance, but let's not forget, we keep saying he was 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery.
And you sensed, guys, by his reaction when Dave Roberts took him out, that he wholly understood.
They accomplished an awful lot. Ross Stripling accomplished it too. Got the young man into the dugout in a really good place. Secured his 5th spot in the rotation through 100 pitches and kept him healthy.
There's a strike, 3-1. Dodgers in franchise history have never combined to hold a team without a hit. The common thread in this, A.J. Ellis. He sets outside on a 3-1 that's hammered in the air to left center field. We're tied at 2.
You never want to have a bad outing. You never want to disappoint a starting pitcher that has made a tremendous effort. But you still walk a very tight rope when you come in out of the bullpen. You can be a hero, or you can struggle with a bad memory.
The first hit of the night for the Giants ties the game at 2 with 1 out in the 8th inning on Trevor Brown's first career home run. Ross Stripling taken out of the game with 7 1/3 no-hit innings. He had reached 100 pitches on the night. Ultimately, his long-term health, his career, more important than this one individual night. But as the focus turns from what was at stake to this swing, it turns from a potential no-hitter into a tie game with the Dodgers trying to even this series up at 1 game apiece.
I'm saying just before that, can't have it be a letdown. You got to go out there and still keep that focus, that fine focus. You got to pick up the tremendous performance by Ross Stripling. I know a lot of people are going to be questioning, how do you take him out? Why do you, after that walk? But at the same time, you even touched on it, Earl. Even in the minors, after coming off Tommy John surgery, he hasn't gone longer than 5, or he hasn't gone longer than 6 innings. This is the longest he's gone since having Tommy John surgery.
Catcher walks Adrianza. He comes on and faces Trevor Brown, who hits a 2-run homer. Now Adrianza with a pinch hit walk. Back to the top, Denard Span. The Giants have the go-ahead run on base against Dave Roberts' club now. Dave went 3 days in San Diego without, like we talked about, really having to make a significant decision, with the Dodgers outscoring the Padres 25-0. Finally, some decisions as far as the bullpen and when to take a starter out yesterday. In a much more normal context, he could manage a whole season and not encounter the kind of decision that he and that dugout had to make. Chris Hatcher, with Dave Roberts now coming out of the dugout to protect him. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, and Chris Hatcher sharing some words.
A lot of motion right now. Chris Hatcher disappointed in giving up the Stripling gem, but also some pitches that were close that could have been called strikes. And Dave Roberts getting involved with the emotions and being booted from this game. But that is to protect his players and to keep his pitcher in the game. That's what a manager is supposed to do.
Dave Roberts ejected from this game. Chris Hatcher was not ejected, just a warning issued from Jeff Kellogg. A.J. Ellis holding that mitt there to show him.
I'll tell you, I love how fast Dave Roberts got out there to try to save his pitcher and keep him in the ball game. And I know there's going to be questions once again talking about, taking him out, but aren't you supposed to rely on your bullpen to come in situations like this?
I'll back Dave Roberts the whole way, taking him out of 100 pitches. 100 pitches on a repaired elbow is probably like 115, 120 on a healthy elbow. A guy who hasn't gone past 6 innings, a guy who hasn't been built up, a guy who really didn't get a full spring training to be built up as a starter because he was just being looked at. No, it was the right decision.
Easy to watch these decisions with our hearts and wish that he had left him in.
Think about Johan Santana, Terry Collins leaving him in. He was never the same when he took him almost 140 pitches to get him his no-hitter. Think back to Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood, how they were overused early in their career and were never the same. Ross Stripling was protected by Dave Roberts and Rick Honeycutt, and it was the right thing to do.
One and two on Span is
and we understand, like you said, the emotions are involved. But right now, it's a 2-0 game. Now it's 2-2. A 2-0 game in the bottom of the 8th. You put your bullpen together for moments like this to go out there and close the door. It's simple as that, and that's what he turned to.
Maybe it's too strong of a word, but irresponsible comes to mind for what it may have been had they let him try to finish this thing out.
Well, for sure. If he'd have walked off the mound on the 105th pitch with no hitter and the elbow blows up again, and he goes for a second Tommy John or some other part. No, and the pitches he threw tonight were more strenuous than any pitches he's ever thrown in his life. A big league debut, Dodger-Giant rivalry, a no-hitter intact. I will argue that case to my grave that they did the right thing. This one game is not going to make up his career or the rest of the Dodger season.
Go ahead, run aboard for the Giants with one out in the 8th. And Span hacks at it foul. Still 2-2. And again, fans are going to look at this with their hearts naturally.
And we're glad they do. We are so glad we do. They do. From the professional side, from the long-term management side, you have to look at it from the Dodgers' perspective. From how you build a roster, to how you assemble your team, to how you protect your team, and how you put them in a position to win as many games as possible, not just one game.
Runner took off. Span fouled it off. And the ball boy fell down. Slippery out there at this point.
Those young men down the line there who are not very young are treasures here in this ballpark.
That 67-year-old Rich Brown down there. His brother is the other ball boy on the other side of the diamond.
So he's going to go home and tell him, "You see my play?"
His brother is over there bummed that Rich is getting the spotlight, or Left is getting the spotlight.
At Thanksgiving, he'll be saying, "I made that play in a 2-2 tie in the Dodger-Giant rivalry in the 8th."
One of many really nice defensive plays tonight. Hatcher home with another 2-2, and Span hits one to short. Seager's got it on a backhand. He'll get the out at first.
What a great play by Corey Seager. One, coming up with it, but then two, knowing that the base runner is going, so he takes a peek just in case he might have had a chance, and then throws it first. Watch after he makes this play. He's going just in case he swings through it, comes back, but then gets up and knows my only play is to first base. Just a nice play. And every time we watch Corey Seager, he always just seems so calm. I mean, that was a tremendous athletic play.
Got a great baseball clock.
Joe Panik with a go-ahead run in scoring position for a Giants team trying to come from behind on back-to-back days to begin this series. They raised a 4-0 deficit yesterday, beat the Dodgers 12-6. They raised a 2-0 deficit with one swing of the bat from Trevor Brown against Chris Hatcher. One batter after Ross Stripling was taken out of the game with a 7 1/3 no-hit innings. Panik is 0 for 2 with a walk. 2-0. Joe Blanton down to the Dodgers bullpen to get loose.
Chris Hatcher will tell you that it wasn't the home run pitch that hurt him. It did hurt when it went over, but what hurt him was falling behind 3-0. Giving the batter time to judge every speed and then having to come in with a strike.
Bounce softly to Hatcher, and a wet ball. He grips cleanly and throws to first to get Gonzalez. Ross Stripling, 7 1/3 no-hit innings, but Trevor Brown ties the game with a 2-run homer against Chris Hatcher. Moment on America's fastest growing LTE network. So the Dodgers go from chasing history, chasing a no-hitter, to facing Corey Guerin in the 9th in a 2-2 game after Trevor Brown even the issue with the first hit of the night for San Francisco. A 2-run shot against Chris Hatcher. Guerin to face Scott Van Slyke. Strike one. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. No, Marty, the Dodgers scored the first 29 runs of the season. It's an MLB record for most unanswered runs to start the year, and then they give up one, then a couple more, and it's almost like it shocked the system. We talked about how do you respond to that. Another one of those little microcosms where I wonder how the Dodgers respond after the air is kind of taken out of the thing. The no-hitter lost, the lead lost on one swing.
Well, that says a lot about a team, and early in this season, we can see what this team's made of. Because now that all that is gone, you definitely felt it yesterday.
Chris Hatcher pretty close to getting thrown out, pretty much trying to at this point. He likely won't pitch the 9th inning, so not much to lose. And Slyke in the air to center. Back on it goes Span. Still going to the wall and runs it down for the first out of the inning.
Off the bat, it looked like it had a chance. Van Slyke hit that really well. In a big ballpark, in a ballpark where the rain is coming down. It's cold, it's wet. It possibly kept that one from going out, knocking that one down. Tremendous play by Bernard Span to track that down. Unlucky for the Dodgers, but they have to still keep battling here. Talk about the wind the momentum kind of changing after that last inning, but you can get it back right here.
A.J. Ellis, who caught Clayton Kershaw's no-hitter in 2014 against Colorado. Caught 7 1/3 no-hit innings of Ross Stripling's debut tonight. Guerin brings a 1-0 pitch. To think that up until a week ago today, we had no idea who the number 5 starter would be. Well, Ross Stripling was on the outskirts of the discussion, a discussion that was only being had because of injuries. But Anderson with the back surgery, and it looked like Mike Bolsinger would be the guy. Bounce back to the mound. Guerin will take it to first to get Ellis. Minutes after Mike Bolsinger was announced as the 5 starter, he tweaked an oblique muscle, warming in the bullpen for a spring training game. Brandon Beachy dealing with some minor injuries that knocked him out of the 5-starter race. Carlos Frias, Zach Lee both given a chance. Neither took control of it, so Stripling was the guy. And dazzled in his debut tonight. Here's Crawford to pinch hit. So let's keep in mind the silver lining of the whole thing, which is maybe the Dodgers found something here, and Stripling after his Tommy John surgery. Some more shouting in that dugout. And they're sending Crawford back. Jeff Kellogg having to play traffic cop now behind home plate. Over to talk to Bruce Bochy now. He's already thrown Dave Roberts out of this game. Running onto the field to protect Chris Hatcher during a verbal argument at the bottom of the 8th. Any idea what the mix-up is here?
Well, he's probably talking about, doesn't he have to see one pitch? Does he have to see a pitch? Or just Carl stepping in the box, pulled him back, but Carl can't come back in the game though. What, can he now that he stepped in the box and announced?
He was announced.
He was definitely announced.
Right.
So yeah, he would be, although this explanation makes you think that they're ruling otherwise. But you're right, if he's into the box and he's announced, basically Hernandez is technically inheriting an 0-0 count. And this, guys, is where we need some kind of way to let fans in the stadium know what the ruling is. In the way that in football you've got referees mic'd up. They're going to know on the field, but we're not going to get any kind of explanation up here.
What I think was trying to happen was Carl Crawford was going up there to see if they would change pitchers to bring in the lefty. And maybe he's not able to hit with his sore back. When they didn't make the change, they needed to put Kike up there. There's a lefty in the Giants' pen. And they were trying to deke him in to bring in the lefty and to get Kike really to hit.
Backs him up 2-0. Chase Utley due next in a tie game here in the 9th. Hernandez hammers a fly ball in the air to center. Span back on this one, twisting at the track with room, and a second long fly out to center in this 9th inning for the Dodgers. Onto the bottom half, locked at 2. And Trevor Brown hit a 2-run shot against Chris Hatcher to tie it. Now Baez will try and get it into extras. Two, 3, and 4 due up in this inning for the Giants. I'll make that 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Giants against Baez.
This is where you get a shot to the gut. You know, Ross Stripling does an outstanding job. Bob Guerin now has to take over as manager with Dave Roberts being kicked out after questioning balls and strikes. Well, Pedro Baez pitched yesterday, 2/3 an inning, didn't do that well, gave up a couple hits, a run of his own, and J.P. Howell a few of his. The bullpen has really kind of been a little bit battered after starting the year out with 8 scoreless innings. And all of a sudden, they're kind of back on their heels a little bit. Win or lose in this game, Nomar, I think when we watch them and how they approach these situations, they look like they're grinding it out. They look like they're competing. That's where you're going to grade the character of the team. And so far, I think they are. They haven't backed down. They don't look depressed, and they're not backing off. They're still fighting.
Hunter Pence leads off this 9th inning. And takes strike 1 at 97 from Baez.
You know, obviously disappointing. We talked about the emotion from Ross Stripling being taken out, having that no-hitter. You know how you pick him back up? He's coming back and winning this game.
Pence tried to end it, held it in 2. Yeah, if you come back and win the game here through the Dodgers, and you know, really what you have is a splendid debut from Ross Stripling, and over time you forget about the circumstances that surrounded Hatcher giving up the game-tying 2-run homer. Pence goes down swinging.
You pick up Ross Stripling, have the day end on a high note. You pick up Chris Hatcher, who gave up the home run, and you pick up your skipper, who will be under a slight microscope. But I don't think that should be on him very long at all. I think he's done an outstanding job. Pedro Baez can be a big part of coming to the rescue.
One of the dangerous hitters in this Giants order coming up here in the 9th inning. He's able to sit down one of them in Pence. Now a guy with big-time power and Brandon Belt. Javier Lopez loosens for the Giants in anticipation of extra innings.
Pence looks like he was swinging in a home run derby there in that last at bat.
Trying to end the game.
Locally here, Buster Posey nominated him for this year's All-Star game for the home run derby, and Pence said he's interested.
Ball and a strike on Belt.
Watch the guys in the bullpen come out and struggle so far this year. It hasn't been about stuff for me. It's been about counts. 2-1, 3-0, 3-1, having to come in. When our bullpen gets ahead in the count and keeps the count in their favor, they can be dominant.
Baez to Belt, a 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And this is a kind of lineup, Oral, you can't afford to fall behind against.
There's a lot of professional at-bats, and they know how to build those counts, and you've got to attack them. But you also got to have some secondary stuff to get back into counts when you fall behind.
And back-to-back strikeouts to start the 9th for Baez against the 3 and 4 hitters in this Giants order.
A little adrenaline to your offense coming in the dugout. You strike out the side, or just those 2 punch outs, one at 97, one at 96. Finish off this inning in a hurry, do it in a flurry, and see what happens with the bats.
And they'll have the top of the order coming up. Dodgers will. And if Baez can sit Duffy down, the Giants will have the bottom of their order due up in the bottom of the 10th. Still an out to get here in the 9th. Duffy swings through it, strike 1. We've seen 3 guys going up there with one thing on their minds.
That often happens when you're the home team. You're going, I'm going to go out there. I just can do it with one swing, end the game. We can walk off. You really battle yourself. It's try to stay within yourself and say, okay, I'm supposed to just get on. And if the Dodgers can get out of this, that should be the mentality when they get in. It's not one swing to put one on the board. It's let's produce the run.
Utley, Seager, Turner due up in the 10th. 1-2. Pedro Baez going right through the teeth of this Giants order. Struck out Pence with a fastball. Struck out Belt with a fastball. And a 1-2 to Matt Duffy. Softly hit the second. Chase Utley's got it. Let's see if the Dodgers can go get this thing done in extra innings. Locked at 2 on to the 10th in San Francisco. And that curveball we heard all about was filthy all night. Located the fastball, and the Dodgers might have something here, Earl.
Yeah, we definitely have someone that can deal with the big stage. He's got a 4-pitch mix. We saw a changeup that was supposedly in development, but he executed it precisely when A.J. Ellis called it. And the young man gave us a lot to remember, and we know he's going to remember tonight.
The Dodgers would like to remember tonight as a win. All of that stuff that happened in the 8th inning, a lot easier to stomach if they can find a way to get it done in extra innings. Javier Lopez comes in for San Francisco, and the Dodgers get ready to bring the top of the order to the plate. Trying to do just that.
As good as you feel getting on that plane in San Diego 3-0 with a whole bunch of shutouts in your pocket and an offense that's going well and good defense, it's as bad as you'll feel if this one ends up punching you in the gut.
Good work from Pedro Baez in that bottom of the 9th inning against 3 through 5 in the Giants order. Struck out Pence, struck out Bell, and got Duffy to hit a weak ground out. Second day in a row we've seen Javier Lopez.
There's a lot of comfort in both dugouts. I know we have Bob Guerin in there now managing the Dodgers and Bruce Bochy, but remember tomorrow, Clayton Kershaw and Madison Bumgarner. So those are guys that can eat a lot of innings, and you don't expect to have to get to your pen early. So as long as this game goes, it gives them a little more flexibility on how to change pitchers and how deep you want to go with the arms.
Guerin, the bench coach, calling the shots over there now with Dave Roberts back in the Dodgers clubhouse. Chris Guerin, a former manager in Oakland. Chase Utley leads off the 10th inning. First extra innings game of the season for either side. And a low strike, 0-1.
Sometimes the managers are in the clubhouse. Sometimes they're in the tunnel right behind the dugout, watching on a monitor and being able to yell instructions up there.
I'm sure Dave Roberts not doing that.
You never know. I can tell you Bobby Valentine did it. I can tell you Buck Showalter did it.
Brandon Bell takes it to the bag, 1 away.
I can tell you Dusty Baker did it.
Okay.
I can tell you Mike Hargrove did it.
So what you're saying is he's doing it?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Just don't show your face with a mustache and glasses on like Bobby Valentine did in Shea Stadium.
When the disguise becomes a dead giveaway. Here's Seager.
We didn't have Groucho Marx on our roster.
Dodgers got their 2 runs in the 5th inning tonight. Seager brought home the second one with an RBI single. Kenley Jansen down to the Dodger bullpen. A.J. Ellis drove in the first run of the night with an RBI single. On the ground to Crawford.
Javier Lopez doing his part, coming in and getting 2 quick outs.
Bruce Bochy in to make a change. It'll be a double switch. Buster Posey comes in to play first base. And the Giants bring Santiago Casilla, their closer, into the game to try and get Justin Turner. Get this game into the bottom of the 10th. Looking to get 1 out to get this game into the bottom of the 10th. Where the Giants will try and complete a comeback win for the 2nd day in a row. Strike 1 to Turner.
And back in the 8th. The Dodgers got 2 quick outs, and Justin Turner started a 2-out rally that they got the bases loaded, but were unable to knock someone in. Let's see if he can do that again.
That's going to light up somebody in blue after the squeezing, or at least the thought of squeezing Chris Hatcher. Borderline on the corner.
He is upset because that looked like it was in the exact same spot as the pitch before. confuse you as a pitcher, and it can also confuse you as a hitter.
Justin Turner with a nice piece of hitting right there.
I'm back, guys.
Ooh, the moisture got into our headsets there a little bit.
Adrian Gonzalez takes outside.
I was telling you about how on the offensive side for the Giants, you saw those big swings. And now there's 2 outs here for the Dodgers, but you still try to just stay within yourself and not think that you have to get too big and just try to do it yourself. He did a good job in the 8th. He just didn't come up with that big 2-out RBI.
Justin Turner really not a stolen base threat, especially with a slow track out here with all the rain that's been falling. Thinking about it though.
It took off hard, but it looked like, I wonder if he slipped a little bit too, or it was just him stopping, just kind of faking it over there.
Go ahead run aboard for the Dodgers here in the 10th inning in a 2-2 game. Turner a good lead off for first and a 2-0. 2-1. Second day in a row. Huge swing and emotions. The momentum. Giants tied it with a 2-run shot from Trevor Brown in the 8th. After the Dodgers got their 2 runs in the 5th inning. One day after the Dodgers saw a 4-0 lead turn into a 12-6 defeat in the series opener.
Put the watch on Casilla up here.
Man,
he is not real quick to the plate, and I think that's why Justin Turner's getting out there and thinking about running. He's above 135, which is definitely a chance to have a green light.
It's 3-1 now.
A shorter leg kick right there. Casilla just trying to be quick to the plate. In some ways, that could be great for Adrian Gonzalez, because if he's worrying about Justin Turner and just comes off of the pitch a little bit, misses location, Adrian could hurt him. Or whether you're going to steal or not, you're at least getting some attention.
See if Adrian gets one to drive. Big lead from Turner. He's not running. Hard hit up the middle. Crawford's got it, sets his feet, throws him out to finish the inning. Dodgers get a 2-out single from Justin Turner, but don't score. We stay to the bottom of the 10th inning, tied at 2. Despite the Dodgers out hitting the Giants 9-1. Joe Blanton on to try and extend this game.
Joe Blanton a piece for the Dodger bullpen to give them length. Resurrected his career with a few mechanical changes and then an addition of a slider, throwing it a lot more often. Charlie Culberson over there with the third base bag now.
Brandon Crawford leads off the inning for the Giants. against Blanton. Ball one. Got honored tonight before the game for his Silver Slugger and his Gold Glove that he won last year. Hits a high fly ball to left field. Back on it goes Van Slyke. A gut punch to the Dodgers tonight.
Led the Giants in home runs last year with 21. Yes, Hunter Pence was hurt, but Brandon Crawford does it. He's got pop to all fields. And this one hurts the Dodgers in the biggest way. But I know one guy is going to take it personal. And that's the leader of the Dodger staff, Clayton Kershaw. Tonight when he goes to bed and tomorrow when he gets up, he's going to try and redeem the team.
Second career walk-off home run for Brandon Crawford. This went from a magical feeling kind of night for the Dodgers with 7 1/3 no-hit innings in the debut of Ross Stripling to a 3-2 loss in extras. For Oral and Nomar and Alana, Joe Davis saying so long from San Francisco. Now we get you to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan.